4 years ago, I used to stand like this. Hello. I used to stand like this talking to groups of 100 plus people in St. Peter's Square in Rome, delivering tours. And I used to tell them about the stories of the Sistine Chapel and about Michelangelo, which was a play I was writing at the time. Seems a long time ago. It was only my experiences there in the world and the people that I met in Italy which led me about a year later to writing a piece in screenwriting class for my tutor Chris Fallon, who's here somewhere tonight. Chris, where are you? Chris, this is all your fault, as I've been trying to tell you. If anybody doesn't like it, blame him. But I got a report back, feedback from Chris, which read on the paper, "Harry, there is much here for me to be very excited by your potential. I was hooked by the bottom of page 1 and casting Hugh Grant in the lead role." So it was that whisper of encouragement. All I needed a couple of weeks later. He said there was one problem with it, it's not a short film. So it was a couple of weeks later, I had a feature film, I was on a plane to Rome, and eventually I cast myself in Hugh Grant's role. You know, it happened. So we always went with the attitude that even if we just managed to capture this in the can, at the very least that would be an enormous success, because we were doing it with no resources and we just went out. Even if we were to fail, the thrill of doing it was, too appealing, and the experience we knew would be invaluable. So we managed to do it, and here we are, a few years later, a few formative years later, and I'm standing once again talking to an audience about my love and affection for Rome. Albeit, I guess you guys will be a little bit more difficult to please than the American tourists I used to speak to. All I used to say was, "Hello," and then you go, "Oh my God, do it again." Hello. You guys know. What you're about to discover is this film is what's called a cinema verite movie, which is about the real people living real lives in a real world. So down here we actually have the cast themselves, who have flown in from around the world today. These are the very people I read the film about. They're actually tour guides in the Vatican today. When was the last time you were in the Sistine Chapel? Friday. Yeah, so that's what they do on a daily basis. But I'm thrilled that they could be here with us tonight for this event. One of the main things that I always said to them when we were starting out was, I promise that one day we will have a screening in which we can celebrate, so I always owed that to them. So at the very end, I'd like to bring them up on stage and just open a brief Q&A, very brief Q&A, just to tell them a little bit about their stories and some of the experiences they had on the film, and then hopefully we can continue those conversations downstairs afterwards. As anybody who's ever tried to do anything, this is why I'm extremely grateful for anybody who's come along today, because we attempted this, and obviously by the spirit in which we were doing it, it was inevitably flawed. But I hope that, for every compromise that had to be made, it was made up for in spirit. And it's an absolute thrill to have been able to brought it here to this stage today. It's never, where you've been or where you are, but hopefully about where you're going. So hopefully you can see this film, see what we've done, have a chat about where we are at the moment. And for those of you who are interested, I've given you a pack about where we're going. So, after the show, we're going to have another drink downstairs, so I'd be very grateful if you want to come and join us. Please remember to turn off all mobile phones. And finally, one of my favourite quotes, Francois Truffaut once said, yeah, big fans? He said, "You shouldn't feel about a movie. You should feel about a woman. You can't kiss a movie." And so here they are. This is the film. This is the life of Italy. This is La Bella Figura. Grazie tanti. Joy. Thank you.